Hey, Robin Chevry here, coming at you live from Las Vegas for today's Coffee and Clarity chat. And yeah, I really want to dive in and ask you the question, have you become a victim of your own healing? Something to think about today. So here's why I'm asking this question, because yes, I'm a business coach, but I do so much deep healing work when it comes to our mindset, when it comes to the beliefs we have about ourselves, what's possible for us, these energetic things that we've been holding on to, and releasing those, because I can give you all the strategy in the world. I can show you how to build an online business. I can show you how to be a coach. I can show you, the basic systems and all of these things. But if you don't believe that it's possible for you, then you will do things like self-sabotage and procrastinate and allow the resistance to take over. And so how do we get to the point, especially if we've gone through our own healing journey, we're so much more aware. We know what's going on with our thoughts, right? Like this happens to me all the time, and I want you to tell me if you can relate to this, because I will see what's going on in my brain. I will watch, the negative thoughts, the resistance come up, that old belief that I'm not enough, exactly as I am, that my story isn't big enough, that, who do I think I am to try to do this kind of work? Who do I think I am to think people will listen to me, right? So all of these things come up for me all the time. And it's almost like we get to this point in our healing journey where we see it happening, and then we're like, well, why can't I just release this? Why can't I just move on? Why can't, we see that it's happening and we know why we're not moving forward, but we can't seem to move through it. So this is what I'm talking about, becoming a victim of your own healing, because I think you have to be able to know yourself enough to know the difference. When you're at that mindset point of, all of those negative beliefs are coming back up for you and you're listening to them, right? And so you need to be able to understand yourself enough to know, is this another level in my journey where I need to turn inward, figure out why it's coming up, what the trigger is, and move through it, right? Because I never will advocate for you to just like push through that and ignore it and try to shove it down, because I think if you don't allow yourself to feel and you don't allow yourself to process what's going on, it will get bigger and bigger, and then you start pushing more and more things off, and you start believing it deeper because you haven't released it or become aware of it. And on the flip side of that, and this was especially difficult for me, because I started off my journey really, really strong in my masculine, right? So like it was a weakness to feel, shove the feelings down, just push, force, hustle, and just go, 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 right? And so in my own experience, like I started shifting more into my feminine. I started owning that side of myself more and letting my feelings come out, letting myself process things. But it got to the point where I was so like deep in the inner work that I allowed it to consume me. And sometimes you just got to know, like, when you need to just sprinkle in a little bit, or like sprinkle whatever that guy does with the salt, sprinkle in a little bit of that masculine and give yourself a pep talk and say, hey, like, I'm no longer willing to hold on to this belief. Sometimes you have to get a little bit stern with yourself and say, this is no longer who I am, right? Like, even though it comes up for you, like it's, that old lingering belief of I'm not enough, or whatever your core limiting belief was, sometimes you just gotta say, like, okay, I'm done with my own BS. Like, I'm done, right? So, and then you move on. And sometimes just that little bit of a shift, and where you say, like, I'm just not holding on to this anymore. Like, it's no longer a part of who I am. That's all you need to move through it. And then you can keep going, right? You just get to choose to no longer hold on to it. So I just encourage you, especially if you're building a business where you are showing up and doing healing work, you are doing, self-development work with other women, and you are serving other women, right? Like, sometimes you just got to get over yourself. Sometimes you just got to tell yourself, like, I'm no longer willing to listen to that voice inside my head that's telling me I cannot do this, because that's a choice that you're making to listen to it. So sometimes you got to sprinkle in that masculine just a little bit, push yourself just a little bit, and move through it. Obviously recognize it, be aware of it, but you don't have to sit in the victimhood of, I have this story, you know, I'm doing my own work, you know, that kind of thing. And I hope this isn't coming off as insensitive, because that's not what I mean. Just because, trust me, I have felt all the things and I have cried all the tears and I have been stuck in my own victimhood for many, many years. But sometimes you just need that extra little push to say, that's no longer who I am, and that's no longer the beliefs that I'm going to choose to hold on to, and decide what you're going to choose to think about every day, right? So like, this is something you cultivate, and it's not about just, okay, you've done the work, you've gone through a course, you've worked with a coach, and now you're good, right? It is a daily practice of cultivating, you know, a mindset that is just bulletproof, and believing in yourself that is bulletproof. And it is something that you cultivate on a daily basis. And it's not just a checklist of things that you go through, right? It's not just, okay, I meditated today, I journaled today, I did this today. That's not what it is. It is a daily cultivation of becoming that next level woman who knows what's going on in her head, but also knows how to quiet that ego voice that's saying that she's not enough. So I just encourage you today to really just open your eyes and say, am I becoming a victim of my own story, of my own limiting beliefs? Am I allowing myself to sit in this for way too long? Because sometimes you do need the masculine to just give you that little shove out of it, to motivate you to move forward, to make you take action, because action is what creates results in your business, in your life, everything. So that is all for today's Coffee and Clarity chat. If you guys have questions, comments, you can find me here on my business page, on the Coffee and Clarity Chat podcast, on YouTube. I'm all over the place, so just look me up, Robin Chevry, and I will talk to you guys all soon.